Hey everyone, welcome to Power on the Move, the series where we catch up with the people taking clean power into the real world and proving you don't always need gas or noise to get the job done. I'm Pascal Gelrich. Joining me today is Scott MacKendrick, Communications and Events Coordinator with the Spring Garden Area Business Association in Halifax. He's one of the many people involved in turning one of the city's busiest streets into a Christmas corridor for families, shoppers, and local businesses. Scott, it's great to have you here. For people who don't know you yet, what does your role involve and what kind of events do you help bring to life on Spring Garden Road?
Hi, Pascal. Thanks for having me on your segment today. It's really great to be here. Something that we like to do here at Spring Garden. So Spring Garden is like a not-for-profit organization that's based here in downtown Halifax, where we kind of service about 200 businesses and community, the ever-growing community of over 300,000 people within who visit Spring Garden, from cruise ships to pedestrians to everyone in the neighborhood. Yeah, all of our community members, I guess. Which is really exciting. And we try to do kind of community-based events that kind of highlight the businesses amongst the community and really kind of service them. One of the, I guess, first opportunities that we kind of had with Star Power Atlantic was our event that took place in August for our Children's Festival. We had 2 DJ booths set up, and something that we wouldn't have been able to do without you guys is actually provide music throughout this small park that's just here in downtown Halifax. So we were able to kind of program music all throughout the park, whereas traditionally we have to have like one central zone that kind of like limits, I guess, like the ambience, the feeling, the experience for the businesses, the patrons that are walking through, and something that I was actually just thinking about the other day. It was funny that we usually have animals, we kind of bring in a petting pen to the area. And not that it's an issue, but sometimes the loud noises or subtle abrupt movement can sometimes startle the animals. So having your guys' solar powered generators in the area that just emit something even less than a quiet hum is really excellent for the people that are kind of enjoying the experience, but also to the animals that we bring in for the city folks who might not typically kind of get to see goats and donkeys and rabbits and all that stuff that you'd see on a farm. So
well, it's great to hear about the different use cases that you guys put up there and how that clean power plays a role. And you mentioned, Scott, how these events, they really shape the feel of the street, and we've been part of a few of them together now. If memory serves me right, I think we've worked together for about 2 years. So thinking back to those early conversations, what first got you curious about trying clean portable power at a street event?
I think the biggest draw that we had, other than really the low emissions that are produced by your solar powered generators, was also the fact that it wouldn't be like a huge trip hazard for us, because power is such a limiting factor for us when we're kind of curating these events for the Spring Garden community. And the benefit to using your guys' Voltstacks or any of your other generators that you provide to our events that we get to work on is that they get to simply be placed right next to wherever. They're so mobile, I guess, is really what I'm trying to get down to. Is it's nice to have that mobility that we can kind of place them wherever we would like, so that way we can program the whole street or we can program the whole park, and it doesn't result in a trip hazard, or doesn't kind of congest the street or kind of take away from the feeling that people are now, looking down at the ground, watching their feet for cords or cable mats or any of this, that it all gets tucked away quietly and silently. So we really love being able to work with such a great company like yourself to program the streets.
Well, it's great to hear how we can add to it. I wanted to just stay on that before batteries era for a moment. Anyone who's been to a street event, at least many of which that are out there, they know the usual soundtrack, like a low hum somewhere behind the decor. From your vantage point, what did powering these events traditionally look and feel like before we started working with you?
I think it's nice to kind of see that there's like some rewiring that happens to people at events where we get to have somebody like yourself, like Star Power Atlantic, providing these solar powered generators. Because I think that like even myself, we just get kind of accustomed to whether it be the fumes, the smells, the sound, and then once that kind of all goes away, we almost have like a moment where you step back from the event and kind of say like, oh wow, like this is what an event now really kind of sounds like, or like they really focus in on, what their family and friends are saying. They focus in on what the actors are saying, what the musicians are playing. So it takes I would say it kind of creates like a whole new atmosphere itself, which is really great.
Sure. And I know we've talked about that a few times, how the background generator noise is often just in our subconsciousness or in the subconsciousness of the people at the event. And then once you take it out, it's like, yeah, that's what we were masking all along. And now it's quiet, right? So it's a real contrast. So hearing you talk about that contrast makes it easy to see why cleaner options like the Voltstacks and the Instagrids would be appealing. And this year you took it a notch or two higher. Clean power wasn't just an add-on, it became part of the street. So what pushed you to scale things up this winter and see what a broader battery-based setup could do, like thinking about the whole street and all the, the rest of the power requirements?
I was thinking of the first year that we did it where we closed down the street and kind of, again, with the humming and kind of like that all background ambient noise that we had, where we shut down the Spring Garden from, the public gardens to the library for the first time, and how even just the traditional traffic noise was all kind of like gone. And it just had this like weird, eerie feeling of like, oh my God, we've got to get some music or some activations or something out here on the street to give these people something to listen to. And I think that's when we had first reached out to you, because again, power was such a limiting resource for us, that we were able to kind of program 2 DJ booths on the street. And after seeing the huge success from that, we had still noticed that there was generators on the street, and we were kind of like looking to see how could we kind of elevate the event even more. And I think working with yourself, we kind of curated this even better experience for the people, where we do installations to try to make it feel like a holiday movie kind of set on Spring Garden Road here, with some displays and benches that people kind of walk along and they can do some photo ops and take pictures. And by not having that background noise or the hum or the generators is really, really great.
So let's dig into what that actually looked like once the boots hit the ground, meaning, once the gear arrived. So when the street closed, this was last Friday, and everything lit up, where did the Voltstacks and Instagrids end up, and what were they actually powering?
Yeah, so it was really great to have your Voltstacks and Instagrids, because they were able to help us power a lot of the lighting displays as well that we kind of had. So there was holiday arches or lights or tree displays that everybody would kind of like make their way down Spring Garden Road towards fire pits and hot chocolate stands, and even listen to the DJ music that was being powered by the Voltstacks. So I think it did a really good job of creating a more kind of welcoming experience for people on the street. Something that I didn't even think of myself, but I think I heard from a family who was kind of like using the holiday arch that we had out there, where there was no emissions, there was no sounds, and for young kids, I guess that can also be kind of like overstimulating sometimes. And it seemed that they were kind of enjoying themselves at I don't want to say different level, but I guess they were just kind of like curating a different experience for them, which was really great to see. So I think that was really what kind of made me take notice, and which we're happy to kind of continue our partnership with for Star Power Atlantic, is kind of making these experiences for people on the street and families more inclusive, and maybe a little bit easier for them.
It's really interesting hearing you describe that shift, because you're managing the balance of public experience, business value, and practical operations. Every organizer I've ever worked with has a picture in their head of what the perfect event day feels like: the sound, the atmosphere, how people move through the space. When you imagine the ideal version of a Spring Garden event going forward, what kind of power setup
supports that vision? I mean, I think that we said it from the beginning. I think that Star Power Atlantic kind of allows us to hold events just because we're so limited in our power sources throughout the street and throughout the park. So really, without your Voltstacks and Instagrids, there would be no events on Spring Garden. So we're very fortunate to have found such a wonderful organization such as yourselves, where we're able to kind of curate these perfect community events for people. Where we usually like to do a lot of our events are low cost or no cost, so it's like free for the businesses to participate. It's free for the community. So I think that that's something that where we are, both of our values are aligned, where we're looking to kind of create a better experience for people within the community. Definitely, and on a personal level, I find it very inspiring for people to see what else can be done with technology in a healthy way that promotes a lot of what of what we all represent. Really, I think that's important to show the public as well. So Scott, I really appreciate you pulling back the curtain on how these street events come together. Feels like we're only scratching the surface of what's possible on Spring Garden. For those of you who want to learn more about clean, silent, and portable power for your next shoot, site, or event, visit starpoweratlantic.ca. I'm Pascal Galrich, and this has been Power on the Move. Until next time, keep it clean, keep it moving.